I think people can conflate different separate issues. In my day, we were not out to control thought. We were out to gain opportunity. You know, a fair share, as they called it, a fair share of the American pie. And so we were trying to eliminate the legal impediments, primarily legal, but also ultimately political, namely the right to vote. We were trying to eliminate the legal political barriers to opportunity in our society, to equalize, what we call Jim Crow segregation, all sorts of quotas and all sorts of restrictions of access, not just of blacks, of Jews. The reason Jewish law firms started up were because what were called the white Jew law firms, the fancy ones, they wouldn't accept Jews. So Jews started to create their own law firms. And there were all sorts of quotas. There were quotas and admissions of Jews to places like Harvard. That's why a lot of the top professors ended up at MIT, top people, because Harvard wouldn't accept them. So we were out to eliminate the obstacles, the practical obstacles, the legal obstacles to equality of opportunity. But nobody ever thought of racism in terms of trying to control people's thoughts. Mm-hmm. I don't give a darn what they think. I don't care if you like me or not. You're going to rent this apartment to me. I don't care if you like me or not.
Robin DiAngelo does.
Yeah, I earned the right to go to this university, and you're going to admit me. Like it or not, I earn a lot of money, and I'm going to that country club. Whether you like it or not. So we didn't care whether they loved you, and we didn't give a darn about what thoughts were passing through your head. We were concerned about the materialization of those thoughts. If they resulted in restrictions to opportunity, mm-hmm. then that was a cause of concern and an object of struggle, but not the thoughts themselves. So by that standard, by that scale, there's no anti-Semitism in the United States. Can you tell me a single person in the United States that won't rent an apartment to a Jew? First of all, most of them want to rent to Jews because they think Jews have a lot of money. But second of all, if they don't, they know the Jew's going to go to court. And he's going to have a Jewish lawyer, and it's probably going to be a Jewish judge. So rent the apartment to the Jew, So, and then there are most places now being Jewish as an asset. If you apply to a law firm and you're a Jew or non-Jew, who's going to get the job? A Jew. You apply into a medical school. The presumption, that what you call the default setting, is always Jews are going to be more qualified than non-Jews. That's the default setting. So in most cases, being Jewish, far from being a liability, it's now in our society, it's a bonus. Now, that's at the level which, in my opinion, counts. But there's another, what you call free-floating bigotry. Okay, it's out there, it's in there. Okay, but you know what? Everybody carries prejudices about all kinds of people. Mm-hmm. You know what's the biggest obstacle to advancement in our country by far? By far. The biggest obstacle being ugly. That's just a fact. You can laugh till the end of time, but that's just a fact. Now, I don't think it's anywhere near as significant a factor in the natural sciences, with our objective criteria of capacity, ability, competence.
As it is in Hollywood, perhaps.
What? No, as it is in every corner of life. You go in for an interview, and you have astonishingly good looks or astonishingly bad looks. You think that doesn't affect the interview?
You think so?
Think so? think so.
Like any kind of interview, like if it's your
As
PhD
I said,
student.
in the case of the natural sciences, I think it's different because there are objective criteria by which you're judged. Though people in the natural sciences tell me it's true, and they're also, but not the same way. You know,
Is this the reason why our platform hasn't made 100,000 subscribers yet?
Well, I do think it makes a difference in podcasts. Your physical appearance, yes, because I can name many podcasters who I think, if they weren't physically attractive, they would not be nearly as successful. And when you turn off the camera, I'll tell you who I have in mind. So,
I'm very curious.
You know, being fat and ugly, those are real liabilities. You know, if you have two people going into a job interview, Brad Pitt and Danny DeVito, I'm serious. And you're going to tell me that doesn't affect it? So my point is, there are a lot of people who carry around prejudices about all sorts of things. And I don't think radical politics sets as his objective to, as that airhead, that dimwit, Robin DiAngelo calls it, to interrupt racism. You know, as if you can abolish racism by heckling it. You know, bad thought. No, it's just so stupid. It's so stupid. So at that level, I think every person I meet, every person, Jewish, they have all these assumptions about Jews. Cheap. Cheap again. You know, they carry all of these I laugh it off, though I recognize that it can be mobilized. Historically, it obviously has been mobilized. I don't think it's a particular danger in the U.S. Judging by our history, the mobilizing forces have been racism, anti-Muslim sentiment, and then most recently anti-immigrant sentiment. There hasn't been any really successful attempt to mobilize anti-Semitism here. But does it exist as a mental category? Of course it does. Does it exist in the form of denying opportunity? I think it's just the opposite. I think Jews have it. First of all, they're very powerful in many different areas, in publishing, in Hollywood, obviously. I was just asking an actress who's a former actress, but she still does parts, very famous actress. She's a friend of mine, Deborah Winger. She was nominated for several Academy Awards. Her best-known films are An Officer and a Gentleman, Tears of Endearment, Urban Cowboy. And she's active on Gaza. Actually, she just wrote me. She wrote me just today. She said that she lost 2 potential jobs because of her politics. And I once asked her, how does it work? How does it work? Is it, is it because the leaders in the industry in Hollywood are Jewish? And she says it's more like a free-floating fear. You can't identify and say he or she are watching you and combing the web to see what your statements are. She just says, it's out there. You can't pinpoint. And today she said, I lost 2 potential jobs over it. I lost, what was my train of thought? I was saying that
anti-Semitism is not at the level of denial of opportunities.
Yes, but I can't remember why I brought up the issue of It'll come back to me. In any event, so yeah, I could see now there are certain resentments against Jews that are surfacing. I see that. I can't say I'm shocked by it, because of the way these Jewish supremacist billionaires are carrying on. And people are afraid. I have friends in medicine who say they're in the hospitals. People are terrified of saying anything because Jews are very influential in the medical field. And people are just very scared. It's not just college campuses. It's a witch hunt going on now. People are afraid to post anything on their social media because the administration comes and says, well, Jewish patients don't feel comfortable around you. And so everybody has to muzzle, and that breeds a lot of resentment. It breeds a lot of resentment that you can't express. First of all, it's America. You're supposed to have freedom of speech. And second of all, there's a genocide going on. You're not allowed to say it. You're not allowed to express it. So there is a breeding of resentment. As I said, I don't see it now as a mobilizing force politically. Jews are very integrated in the ruling elite. If you look at past presidents, Bill Clinton, the apple of his eye is his daughter Chelsea. Chelsea's married to a Jew. Joe Biden has 3 daughters. All 3 are married to Jews. And you can go down the line. I once went through this whole thing, going through everyone. So they're very well integrated in the ruling elite. And the likelihood that they will be sacrificial lambs in some sort of mass anti-Semitic movement, I think it's remote, in my opinion. But I acknowledge a problem is developing. There is a problem. But the problem is of these people's own making. They're carrying on like thugs. And they're using the power that they have of money to blackmail and hold hostage colleges, universities, and demanding to crush all the dissent to the genocide.
Hi, my name is Ayushman. I, along with Jyotisman, have started this platform. In the last 2 years, we have tried to build content for the left and progressive forces. We have interviewed economists, historians, political commentators, and activists so far. If you have liked our content so far and want us to build an archive for the left, I have 2 requests for you. Please do consider donating for the cause. Link is in the description below. Also, if you are not able to do so, don't feel sad. You can always like our videos and share our videos to your comrades. Finally, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.